Hey folks, it's Mike with Chasing Trail, and here we are about to take our maiden voyage on the 2022 Beta 430 RRS. Let it warm up just a second. Let's go for our maiden voyage. So even with the stiffer springs and the tall seat, I can not quite flat foot. I'm close, not quite. Pants getting stuck on the pegs, that's not great. Okay, here we go. Man, that clutch pull is light. Brakes are a little squishy. Kind of to be expected. My goodness. Legit one finger. I've never had a clutch I could one finger pull before. Okay. We're moving. I'm thinking some Muletown Rd might be in order. What better way to test out a new bike? See, with the seat concept seat, oh, that's not good. Uh-oh. We got a mirror completely loose. Okay, we're gonna have to go fix that. Shit. I guess we'll go around the block. Okay, not talking much. I'm just kind of taking it all in right now. Feeling everything out. The clutch is so light. I'm gonna have to get used to it. I almost can't even feel it. That's crazy how light the clutch is. Mind-blowing. Thus far, bike feels good. The seat is already uncomfortable, even with the seat concepts. Hopefully the foam will break it a bit. My ass is probably a little bit sore from yesterday. Let's check our standing position. Standing position's pretty good. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty damn good. Better than I expected, honestly. Alright folks, I'm back. I got my mirror tightened down. I think we're in good shape now. Bike's feeling a little bit more familiar. I may need to adjust this clutch lever a little bit. It feels like it's just barely fully engaging the clutch. So I might need to tweak that slightly. Getting waved on here, thank you. There are some new bike smells. It smells like candle wax. Okay, let's see how she feels at speed. Wheels should be fully balanced. Definitely feels like it's wandering a little bit, but I wonder if that's just these knobby tires. I'm not going to go super easy on the bike, but I'm not going to rev the piss out of it either during this break-in. See, it feels perfectly happy at 65. I don't know if you're able to hear a thing. I can't hear anything. The wind noise is deafening. $65. Feels like we're revving pretty good at 65. $62 feels pretty comfortable. Alright folks, turning the camera back on and just pulling on the Muletown Rd here. Some initial observations from riding out here. The bike definitely doesn't feel as good on the... I'm making a lot of comparisons to the KTM 500 EXC because that's what I just came off of. And I also feel like it's a very fair bike to compare this to. I know there's a displacement difference, but it's small, and I looked at both the 430 and the 500 and chose the 430 for a variety of reasons. I either already talked about those or I'm not going to talk about them here. This is more first impressions and comparing to what I just came off of. So the bike feels like it's wandering a bit on the road, and that's a little bit of a hard thing to describe. It just doesn't feel, it's not tracking as straightly and as confidently, and this may simply be the tires. The KTM had TKC 80s, which were really a good 50-50 tire. These are very much barely street legal knobby, so I'm really wondering if what I'm feeling is just the difference of a knobby tire on the street versus a 50-50 tire. When I move the bike around on the street, like side to side, it feels very stable, just like the KTM did there. So I really am thinking this is just a difference I'm noticing in tires. I don't know if I've ridden a bike with tires this dirt oriented on the street, so that's probably all this is, but something I thought I'd point out. I like the gear spacing on here better. I don't have any weird spots. The KTM in particular, the gap between 5th and 6th was really large, and so oftentimes when you're on the street around 45 to 50 miles per hour, it was a really awkward spot where you felt like you were revving too high in 5th or lugging it in 6th. This does not have that issue. Now, I'm not running the stock gearing. Stock, it comes with a 15 and 13 tooth front sprocket. I split the difference and went with a 14 based on some feedback I've seen and the fact that I do a mix of street and dirt, although I really would prefer the dirt bias, so it's possible I go with the 13 in the front eventually. What else? It definitely vibrates less. You can feel the vibration. I'd say I feel it most through the seat, actually. I feel next to none through the handlebars. Very little through the handlebars. I do feel some through the foot pegs, though I'm wearing my street boots. I'm guessing in my dirt boots I would hardly feel it at all. Yeah, mostly just feel it through the seat, and it's not bad. I like feeling a little vibration, so I know that I'm on an internal combustion engine machine. It's definitely not obnoxious, and it vibrates considerably less than the KTM. Brakes are fantastic. Clutch is so light that I'm having trouble getting used to it because I can barely even feel it. I'm definitely not going to have carpal tunnel. I can tell you that right now. Ergonomics. So the KTM ergonomics felt better on the street, but I have a feeling this is going to feel much better in the dirt. I can tell you right away I like the ergos of this standing up better. I just could not get to feel comfortable standing up on the KTM. It was true on mine even after bar risers, and it was true on Shane's, who has basically the same steering damper setup as this one, or something very similar. It just didn't, oh, a lizard. It just didn't feel right standing up to me. If you want to be in a very crouched attack type position, I guess it was good for that, but I just did not feel comfortable on it. Here, I feel it feels much more natural for me, and it actually feels very similar to the Honda for me. This bike, just first impressions, the ergos, and the way it feels, the engine character and everything, it feels much more similar to Shane's 450 RX than it does the KTM. So, yeah, that's all I need to say. It feels more like the Honda than it does the KTM. And for me, that's a good thing, because when I rode his back-to-back, I immediately preferred the Honda. And that's largely why, one of the many reasons why I went with the 430 over a 500 motor, and something I was hopeful for with the Beta. I rode Zendimes briefly, but mine set up now for me with stiffer suspension, raised handlebars, etc. It feels really good in terms of dirt bike ergos, and we'll get an even better sense for that here shortly as soon as I hit the dirt. But initial impressions are very favorable. The feeling is very smooth. That feels great. I already knew that from riding Zendimes. The brakes are fantastic. I already knew that from riding Zendimes. They were so good when I rode his, I was convinced they had to be Brembos. They are not. They are Nissan. Okay, here we go. Dirt. Getting her dirty already. It's what she's meant to do. Okay. Suspension is incredibly harsh. I kind of knew that was going to be the case. Both from Zendimes' feedback about his. He hated it at first. I also hate this. Very, very harsh. And I had heard from reading on the forums and such that the betas take a fair amount of time to really break in, and that they will feel harsh initially. Definitely seems to be true. I'm feeling every little bump and chop, and I hate it right now, but I know it's going to change. So one thing I like about this 430 a lot is it has no problem in the low RPMs. It seems very happy to putt along like this. But once you get on it and you get in the mid-range, it has a power band, and you notice it. It really picks up and feels a lot like the Honda did in that regard. So there you can feel the boom. You feel it kick up in the mid-range, and that's where it really comes to life. But it doesn't feel like it's weak on the low end. It's just not as torquey, but it seems very happy to lug in the low RPMs. Let's go ahead and stand up here a little bit. Oh yeah, the standing ergos are really good. Much more comfortable for me. I'm going to be taking it very easy today for reasons that should be obvious. It's a brand new bike. It's unfamiliar to me, and I'm trying not to be too hard on the motor. I don't want to pussy it too much, but oh yeah, that mid-range hit is so much fun. I love the engine character. I can already tell you I'm happy with my choice for the 430. I had a really hard time deciding between it and the 500, but this engine just feels lively and fun. It's playful, and that's what I wanted. I really got to figure out how to shift while standing. I can't find a way to do it that feels comfortable. Yeah, oh, I love the ergos. It feels so much like the Honda, which I really enjoyed. So here I'm in the low RPMs. Bike's perfectly happy. But as soon as I twist a little more, oh yeah, it hits. I don't know, I mean, I'm sure it's not like a two-stroke, and the only two-stroke I've ever ridden is a Banshee, and that thing hit like crazy. It's not like that, but it's noticeable. I haven't ridden too many four-strokes that have that, and so for me it feels really fun. Suspension feels pretty good standing up. It's very harsh when I'm sitting down. But yeah, this feels really good. I'm much more comfortable standing on this than I ever was on the KTM. So it's almost soft on the low end. Like, it's really unintimidating. It's quite happy to just kind of putt along. But then as soon as you hit that mid-range, it starts ripping. Oh yeah! Oh, it's so much fun! I love it. It actually makes me, I want to stand up on this bike. I just got to figure out how to shift while standing. So here I am putting along, It doesn't feel like it's lugging or anything. It doesn't feel bad. The feeling's very smooth. Actually smoother than I thought. When I first rode Brandon's Zendyme, I mean, I told him that I thought the KTM was smoother. I'm not so sure now. This might be just that smooth. Oh, that mid-range. I can't wait till this thing's through its break-in. Then I can really lay into it. And so another thing, I had read this comment somewhere, and I feel like they were spot on. If you want to lug, you'll like the KTM. I took off on chains in third gear on accident. I thought I was on first because I'm an idiot, and it just lugged along and went up one of the really steepest sections out there. It was happy. I mean, it wanted to go faster than I wanted to go, so I was feathering the clutch a bit, but it had no issue just crawling up stuff in third. If that's your riding style, you're gonna like that KTM motor. And I had read, take this with a grain of salt because I haven't ridden them all, I had read that the Beta 500 was more like that in terms of its character. I prefer to ride in the sort of mid RPM range and have more engine braking and stuff, and people said that's what this 430 was good for. So, and it feels really good to me in that range. The engine just feels like it wants to be right there, but it doesn't. I'm having trouble articulating how I want to say this. It doesn't feel unhappy doesn't feel unhappy lugging. So here I am just putting around in like third gear, and it's perfectly happy. Man, this stuff's gotten nastier. This is definitely sharper and nastier than last time I was out here. So even there, at very low throttle input, this thing's happy. I'm getting hot, but the bike's happy, and even crawling along on a warm day, I'm still at 192 degrees. That's great. Suspension's definitely harsh. It's at completely stock settings right now. Yeah, it's gotten nasty out here. Gosh. It's just all rocks. Everywhere around here is rocks. I wish we had more dirt. This is what I got though. Rocks, rocks, and more fucking rocks. We ride what we got. We got rocks. Oh yeah. Oh shit. God, that suspension's harsh. It's not bad standing up, but sitting down, it really punishes me. It says, get off your ass, fat boy. Ride me right. Very, very good brakes. Man, I want to keep riding, but it's hot. I'm sweating. It's too hot to go out to the dam, especially in this gear. I'm in my middleweight street gear, and it's just too hot. Too hot for dirt riding. But man, it did really well. My first impressions are I'm very happy. Yeah, gosh, I don't know. This feeling's every bit as good as the KTM was. So I take back what I said before. The KTM's not better. KTM's not bad. The KTM's great for fuel injection, but this is every bit as good. Man, this bike's just so happy at whatever RPM, whatever speed. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Honda, the 450RX. Oh, that mid-range! Oh, gosh, I want to rev the piss out of it. Not yet. Not yet. One finger brake. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Very, very happy right now. Man, those brakes are really good. Almost too good. You gotta be careful. So yeah, it doesn't feel quite as good on the street. I'm gonna chalk that up to tires and suspension settings, because like I said, when I move the bike around side to side, it feels incredibly stable. It's just the kind of wandery feeling it has on the pavement here. And I'm even noticing it less. I'm noticing it less on this stretch of road than I did previously. This is nice smooth asphalt though. On the KTM, I wasn't afraid to rip pretty good on the street, and this one I feel like I need to be a little more cautious, though it is just a new bike and I'm being cautious anyway, feeling things out. Oh my god, that mid-range hit, I love it. Everything is just so light and easy on here too. It's so easy to ride. The brakes, the clutch, the gear shifting, it's just easy. It feels very effortless. It's a very pleasant bike to ride. So yeah, the wind noise is going to pick up again here, but my initial impressions are very favorable. I like it slightly less on the street than the KTM, though I don't think that's the bike. I think that's the tires and suspension, and I like it better in the dirt already. We'll see once I get a proper test at the dam, but the engine character and the ergos just feel immediately better to me. And like I've said several times now, it reminds me a lot of the Honda 450RX in all the best ways. Well, there you have it. The rest of my street right here. I think it's gonna be too windy to hear anything. Initial impressions are I absolutely love it. I like it better than I thought I was going to. I don't know what better praise I could give than that. I can't wait to get it out to Chappie and give a proper dirt ride. I love it. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. Plenty more content to come.